What's up, Dave? We're live.
Hey, Cobb. How's it going?
As in recorded. How you doing, man?
Good.
Good.
Doing well. I planted a bunch of flowers for the wife today, and yeah,
That's good.
been a
What
good
kind of
morning.
flowers?
Yeah.
What kind of flowers were they?
Oh, I don't even know. It's a bunch of different things. There's yellow ones and orange ones and purple ones.
Nice. That
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
Well,
Good.
she had picked them up, I don't know, a week ago at a flower sale or plant sale, and they were just sitting there just waiting to be planted. And I thought she was going to do it, so then I thought, oh, okay, well, I guess I could do it this morning.
Does she do that stuff too, or does it always wind up on you?
99% of the time it ends up on me.
Yeah. Yep. My wife just got some lettuce, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna plant this." She put it out by our garden, still in like the plastic packaging, and yeah, a week later we looked out, they're all dead. I was like, "Yep, that's because I didn't do it. If I had just taken care of it, they'd be fine right now."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we had some things we were going to talk about today, and I was excited to hear what you were going to talk about, diversifying. We also were going to talk about Fiat. I also had some other things I was going to bring up, which, I'm not sure. I don't think I really got around to researching enough stuff to go too much into this stuff. We did just the other day talk about Whale Chart, that new influencer on Twitter. And I was actually pretty pumped up. He's talking pretty positively about Hex still. And I did, kind of check myself a little bit, thinking about him and what's been going on with the Hex community, with these new influencers coming in. So I just want to let you know, we've already got guys like, B Roots and Jenkins who are, they like their meme coins, but they're still hexagons. So, I can't knock people too much. There are still people who are very bullish on Pulsechain and Hex. And just because they like their meme coins too, and they like doing some degen. I mean, I myself am guilty of that. So, I follow B Roots, I follow Jenkins. I'm not going to judge them too much, as long as they don't start turning people away from Hex. As long as they don't start saying that, you should start selling your Hex to buy meme coins. I think there's room for everybody here. So just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. So,
what was the I told you I wanted to talk about a diversifying thing. What was, do you remember my original comment?
The original comment about diversifying?
Yeah.
Let's see what I wrote down here. I wrote down in my notes, Dave, diversifying or not. So if that jogs your memory.
No, I mean, I more or less remember it. No, the thought I had was, a lot of people talk about diversifying in your 401k or IRA or whatever as a retirement thing. And it's fine. Like, if you want to plan on working for 40 years and you're going to be buying, like in a typical IRA, there's maybe 100, 500 different stocks that you're buying. And that's considered diversifying, right? And that's good for protecting wealth, because you're going to buy something like Amazon that pumps like crazy and grows. The growth is phenomenal. But it's terrible when you buy something that fails. Out of these 500 different stocks that you're buying, there's hundreds of them that are failing constantly, or losing money, or just not doing anything. And so when you're young, should you be doing this? of diversifying like crazy, or should you be focused on some things that you see that have huge potential over the next decade or two? And I realized that instead of, and I was in the whole 401k Roth IRA game, and I'm still partially in, but I decided instead of just buying a ton of things that some do well and a bunch of them don't do anything, why not learn about something that actually has that future staying power and has that future growth, and then dialing in and focusing your investing on that thing, or maybe a couple things or whatever. And so when it comes to something, well, Hex was one of those things where no one knew what it was going to do. Like, it took a lot of faith in the early days. Like, you just had to believe in the project or the product and Richard Hart in the early days. But now that has the track record, we look at Richard Hart's next project of Pulse and PulseX as the next 100x, 1000x coin that could do something. And do you want to be continued to diversify into everything and buying all these companies that are failing constantly? Or would you like to say, all right, I'm going to take a big chunk of change and focus it onto this new thing, because the guy has a track record, much like Elon Musk or one of these guys that they continue to make great things. Like, if Elon Musk came out and said, I'm making a cookie company, whatever kind of cookies they are, it doesn't even matter. Like, just knowing that the guy is making this cookie company, I think a lot of people would invest. So same deal with Richard Hart. He has a good track record. We know that everything he does just turns to gold. So why not dial in and focus your investing on a couple really highly likely things that are going to really take off, instead of spreading it out over a bunch of stuff that who knows what's going to happen. So those are my general thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I was coming up with sort of an analogy how that works, because I still think there's value, obviously I think you do too, that there's value in true diversification. And I wish I was more diversified. I wish I had some real estate. I wish that I had some gold, or I don't know. I just wish that I had things really spread out. But it definitely makes sense though to go heavy into what is going to have the highest returns at the moment. 5 years ago, I had a friend who was talking about how he was going to put a bunch of money into Tesla, and I kind of thought it was stupid. I was like, dude, I don't know why you pump a couple $1,000s into that. You just put it into your 401k. It's going to be better. And that was sort of stupid, immature thinking. From my traditional backgrounds, I'd always been told, just do the 401k, do it safe. It doesn't mean that when you're pushing hard into one project that you're not being safe, but it increases your odds of growing faster. I'm sort of thinking of it like just because you decide to go heavy into a Richard Hart project doesn't mean that you're letting everything else slide. It's almost like your finances are a pizza and you have 12 slices of pizza. Where are you going to put all your pepperonis? You could have your pepperonis split evenly on all the different slices so that each slice has 4 pieces of pepperoni. But when Richard Hart's building the absolutely best project and he's already moved, he's already has onions and peppers and ham and pineapple and whatever else on that one slice, maybe that's where you want to throw your pepperonis for a little while, because that's going to be one awesome slice of pizza. So and it doesn't mean that you can't move your pepperonis back to the other slices eventually. But is that kind of what you're saying though? Is as your money is fungible, So move it where it makes the most sense.
Yeah. And well, and if I was 70 and I was already retired and pretty much I couldn't work anymore, or like once you hit a certain age, you're not likely to get great paying jobs. So once you hit that age, whatever it is for that person, sure, diversify, make sure you have a bunch of pots on all the different fires so that if one of them fails, you're not crushed. But being still working age, 40, I'm 41, I think you're 40, right? Yeah, like we've got, like, even if like we guess wrong, and I don't consider this a guess, but like let's say we guess wrong and it doesn't work out, we still have 20 years to make up for that. So in the short term, like right now, instead of buying all these failing companies that we know all of the, JC Penney, all these companies, like there's tons of companies that just continually fail in the broader stock market, or like the S&P, the Dow, all these things that some of them are great, but then a bunch of them are terrible. But when you look at them, you're like, what does the future staying power have for this company? And a lot of them, you're like, that people just don't shop at JC Penney anymore. They shop at Forever 21 or Lululemon or whatever the new clothing company is, the new hot thing. So why keep buying these companies that keep failing in your 401k or IRA or whatever? So when you learn about something that you're like, okay, and this isn't just like you just learn about it and then you go all in. This is, you study the thing for a while. Does it have that community? Does it have that staying power? Does it have the founder or the CEO or whatever that's going to take this thing, for the next decade? And then once you find that thing, you're like, okay, I'm going to focus on that and I'll dump more into that than I normally would because I believe in that particular thing. And right now it turns out Richard Hart is that particular thing. And all of his projects, products, why not dump and focus on those things instead of a bunch of just miscellaneous things that you have no idea what they are, why you're buying them, or because that's what a 401k is. Like, it's several hundred companies that you're buying. You don't even have a clue what it is. Like most people don't even know what's in their 401k.
Yeah.
So you're just like every week, $100, couple $100, whatever, going in there. You have no idea what it's doing, where it's going, anything. So why not learn about, the next big thing, the future of something, and then dump money into that?
Yeah. It makes sense what you're saying, because when you look at a 401k, sure, there's someone managing that 401k, but their job is to make sure that you don't get wrecked, right? Their job is to make sure that they do not fall too far behind the rest of the market. So, they're not always looking for the very best thing. They're just looking for something that's going to make sure that you don't leave their services or jump ship too quickly. They're looking to just kind of keep you safe and protected. But yeah, they know that losses come with the wins. So they're sort of
and they're
balancing.
looking at, when they look at a bunch of 100, 200 companies, they legally are obligated to spread your investment across all of them.
Yeah.
So even companies that are on the way out and nobody's shopping there anymore for whatever reason, they keep buying them. Like Radio Shack. Like, I'm sure in all of our 401ks and IRAs, we probably still own some Radio Shack. And for some reason, we keep buying a little bit more of it. Every time we have our paycheck, put a little bit into that 401k.
Yeah.
And who goes to Radio Shack anymore? I mean, I don't
Well, I
even
thought
remember
Radio
the last
Shack was
time I was
completely
there.
closed. Are they still open?
I don't know. Maybe there's like one location like Blockbuster. I mean,
think
there's one. I think
Is there?
Blockbuster has one location in Oregon or Washington or something.
Really?
But remember how big Blockbuster was?
Sure.
And
I
they
worked that one. You should remember that.
So yeah, like now they're down to one location. I don't know what the stock story is, what they're doing, but yeah, like you keep buying these companies, not knowing anything about it, and just blindly buying.
Yeah.
Week after week, paycheck after paycheck. So, and for a lot of people, it's fine. Like if you just you work your job, you're happy with your job or career, whatever, and you're good. Like everything's going great in your life, and you're down with just buying a whole bunch of things, and then after 40 years of working, then you retire, take walks on the beach and at the sunset and all the rest. Or you learn about a few good companies or good stocks, good cryptos, good whatever. And then once you find that really good one, you say, all right, forget it with buying a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to start buying that one thing for the next couple years or a few years or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree. You got to strike while the iron is hot. When something is solid, yeah, it doesn't make sense to say, oh man, that looks so amazing. It's such a great project. There's no doubt this is going to take off. I'll put $50 into it. That doesn't. It's not going to get you very far. You got to reallocate and go in heavy. I 100% agree with that. At the same time, though, I'm definitely one of those proponents that says, don't invest what you can't afford to lose. Because I get terrified when people are posting that they sold everything they own and put it all into Hex. And I'm like, that's intense. Like that's a gamble that might pay off really, really nicely. And I know there are people who say like, oh yeah, I was a millionaire at age 25 and I lost it all. And then I became a millionaire again 5 years later, and then I lost it all again. And it's like, that's more power to you, man. But, that's also how, people lose their families and, people turn to drugs. And it's a scary way to go, gaining it all and losing it all. So a little bit of stability is good. But I absolutely understand that diversification has its limitations, and it should have its limitations, because there are times that you have to reallocate and go heavy.
Yeah. And it depends on your age. Like I said, it depends on it. And I'm not saying just go all in on anything. Like have your house, you're still paying the mortgage, have your, every now and then you're planting a fruit tree. So every year later, you're getting fruit.
Yeah.
Have your
big investment fruit tree. Yeah.
Well, it's a huge investment, actually. Honestly, like if you look at the dollar, like if you look at dollar to dollar, you buy a $50 fruit tree, and then after 2 years, you're getting several $100s worth of fruit every single year.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah, it seems like a joke, but like it's a real thing.
No, it's absolutely. Well, and you've also got all the other stuff there. You got goats and chickens or whatever. So
sure, yeah. I mean livestock. I mean, that's livestock tends to, especially where we are, it's a love. It's not really a investment. Like maybe investing in your health, possibly, because you're getting healthier eggs, healthy milk from the goats. Like maybe that's an investment.
Yeah.
But dollar to dollar, like it usually that doesn't matter. But like, yeah, forget about the specifics on a tree or livestock. Just so you should be doing different things in addition to going heavy into something that you really see long-term, staying power.
Sure. Yeah, and I like that. I like that. I do think it'd be interesting to kind of see how people would be willing to allocate at different ages. However, I'm sure that also has a lot to do with how financially stable you are at the point. So, I guess it'll be interesting to see what I decide to do. Because I think there's going to be a time very quickly where I'm going to say I have enough money. I'm not a billionaire, but I have enough money where I just want to make it really, really secure and do whatever I can to make sure it's safe so that I can retire in style. I'm not one of those people that's going to be going, all in right up to the end.
Yeah, and in 2 years, once Pulse and PulseX do another 100x, and Hex does another 100x, yeah, sure. Like, you've done what you need to do, and then you diversify to protect your wealth.
Yep.
But like right now, it's growing your wealth, so you want to focus in on a couple things.
Yep.
And then once you get the wealth, that's when you start diversifying and you start just buying gold and property and random stocks that you have no idea what they are, and doing all that stuff. But right now it is a focus, and this isn't financial advice for anybody watching may or may not watch in the next several years or whatever, if they ever see this video. But so it's focus your energy on a few things, and then once you get that wealth, then spread it out, diversify.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Dave's financial advice.
Yeah.
No financial advice, not financial advisors.
Yeah. All right. So what was the next thing you wanted to talk about?
Next topic.
How about we just get into Fiat?
Let's just get into Fiat.
I honestly want to hear anything you've got about Fiat.
Yeah, I want to talk about Fiat. I also want to talk about the First Amendment option, but I didn't read the article, so we're going to skip that. But next time, there was a cool article by Zero Hedge called "The First Amendment Option," which looked interesting. It's not necessarily crypto related, but I thought it was going to be a good topic because that's something I'm kind of passionate about and interested in. But yeah, Fiat. So Phiat. That is the fork of AAVE. That is created by hexagons for hexagons and pulsechons. So, Dave, I understand that you did some research. You're familiar with Fiat. You just wanted to put me on the spot. Is that correct?
Actually, I don't know much.
Okay.
From what I understand, I don't know anything.
Sure.
Like I think the acronym is Pulse Hex Investment Allocation Tools or something like that.
I didn't get that out of them. They basically, I don't think it's that good. I don't know who came up with that. They do have an FAQ on their site, though, where they talked about the name. And they kind of said that they liked the Vermont rock group Fish growing up. And they noticed that the P and H could stand for Pulse and Hex. So there's that.
Yeah, I think on PulseX, if you look at the trading pair Fiat, it will say Pulse Hex Investment Allocation Tool.
Okay.
So Phiat. I believe that's what it was.
I guess, that could be, they might have that written
down. That's the extent of what I know. So.
Okay.
All right, so you tell me what else. Yeah.
These fancy terms, investment allocation tool. Now, it's a fork of AAVE, and AAVE technically calls themselves a liquidity protocol. So I think there's a lot of big fancy terms that don't necessarily describe it very well. So Dylan, he goes by Hexastani. He was on with Sam Stolt and Jim Rant Crypto, and he basically just described themselves as a bank, right? Not a bank where you walk in and you ask the teller you can deposit some money, but you are using them as a bank, like for loans. So just like any classic bank loan, relies on, people putting money into the bank to provide the money. Well, these days with the way things are going with the Fed, I don't know exactly how it works. But traditionally, the idea is that you have people put their money into the bank, which provides essentially liquidity. And then the bank does stuff with that money and they loan it out and they collect interest. And then the interest goes back to the people who, put their money into the bank in the first place, albeit at very low interest rates. And they in turn collect loans, interest rates from the loans that they give out. To get a loan, you're not giving collateral like the deed to your car or your house. Instead, you're just collateralizing crypto. So questions came up kind of how is this different than liquid loans? And there's a few ways that it's different from liquid loans. I mean, a smart person could probably tell you 100 ways it's different from liquid loans. First off, with fiat, when you want to take out a loan, you can give all different manners of collateral. You can collateralize. I mean, let's just look right now. They do have it up on testnet. If you're looking at the markets, you can collateralize fiat tokens, Pulse, Hex, PulseX, Hedron, Helgo, and USDC. Those are what I'm seeing right now. I'm assuming there will be more things added. So I don't know fully why. You can also borrow things, other cryptos, right? So you can actually borrow any one of those tokens as well. I don't know why someone would say that they want to collateralize Hedron and get Helgo. It makes a lot more sense if you just wanted to collateralize something like, I guess, collateralize anything and in return get a stable coin. That makes sense. And that's what makes sense with liquid loans, right? Is that your liquid loans only works with Pulse, and then you collateralize your Pulse and you get USDL stable coin in return. Fiat is much more flexible in what you can do. So there's that. Does that make sense?
Actually, can you give me a 30-second countdown?
A 30-second countdown? Yeah, let me go at what? Yeah, we can just cut this section out of the video. All right, Dave had to go somewhere, so I'm back here by myself. So we'll just wait on him. In the meantime, I'm actually going to try and pull up. Let's see if I can show you guys what the Fiat dashboard looks like. Well, frankly, this is the market section. Let's see. My dashboard's not going to show anything because I have not connected my wallet. Let me try sharing the screen really quickly here.
How'd that work?
That worked really good, man. You were longer than 30 seconds. So.
Yeah, we need
on you.
Like a 60-second countdown, maybe.
Okay, so I decided to really quickly just bring up what the Fiat page looks like. So that's what happened. Where'd it go? Disappeared on my screen. Okay. So, you can see that Fiat's got a lot of, it's the best pulse right now, but they've got a lot of activity, I guess, fairly. I don't want to, I'm going to cut this all out, Dave. I don't know what to say here.
No, it looks interesting. No, I'm curious on the tokenomics of the Fiat coin. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. And I'll write that down. Stuff like that is tough to get information on. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a white paper for Fiat. They do have an FAQ, but they don't go into any of the tokenomics. I got to admit, I was a little bit disappointed in their FAQ. It seemed more like they wanted to tell jokes in there than actually get down to the nitty gritty important stuff. So that's the kind of stuff I think I'll have to go on Telegram and try and find out. Because what are the actual tokenomics? I have no idea. And frankly, I wasn't sure what the tokenomics are either of AAVE. You know, I know that it's there's a governance token. You know, I know that there's a sacrifice phase right now. Sacrifice phase is actually still ongoing. Dylan said that it's not actually going to end the sacrifice phase till they reach 4 million in sacrifice. So, you know, whatever that means, what people are sacrificing for, I don't know. I also want to learn a little bit more about what the possible ROI is on something like this. I don't know what the ROI was on AAVE. That's something I'm going to look up just to see how it could compare. But they were fairly honest, which I appreciated in their FAQs. You know, they just, as a posed question, they said, you know, should I go all in on this? Should I sell my house and get these? Or is this going to be a 10,000x? And they said no. You know, maybe it'll be a 10x to 100x. You know, they're looking more, I think, right now for support. They're looking for people who have some additional funds that are just looking to support a project on Pulsechain. So that's kind of what it, sort of what it is. So I don't understand what the tokenomics would be. I would not buy Fiat tokens thinking like this is going to be a big thing. This is going to be what's going to pump your bags. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But from what I learned. You know, who knows? I mean, if you think of 100x as awesome, you know, it sure is. I don't know if it's going to do that. I mean, even they don't sound that confident. When the devs on a project are telling you that maybe they'll do 100x, I mean, if that's their optimism, then I don't think of it as an amazing project. But and one of the other concerns here too, I don't want to get crappy on them. You know, they seem legit. It seems like a legit fork. I have not heard yet if they're going to be doing an audit. Hopefully they'll get it audited. I understand it's a fork of AAVE, but you know, I was thinking about that too. When people say, "Oh, well, it's just a fork of another project. Why do we need an audit? It's a fork of another project." It's like, well, yeah, I could fork a Lamborghini too. I'll tell you what, Dave, I'm going to build you a Lamborghini. It's going to be exactly like another Lamborghini. You know, I'll deliver it to you next month. It's going to be $300,000. Enjoy. And you're going to want to make sure that it was inspected. Because I don't know how to build a Lamborghini. Now, I can copy it part for part, put together according to the instructions, but you're not going to trust it unless it's been inspected.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, all you got to do is change one letter in the code, and something's not going to work right? So, I want to see an audit before I was going to put a bunch of money in there. I'm not going to take out a big loan. I'm not going to put $100,000 in Fiat without assurance that it's working properly.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know if that answered all of your burning questions about it. Let me see. I took some notes here. Let me just go through them really quickly. So they do have variable APYs. All right, for stable coins, they have non-variable. What's that? What am I talking about? It's like a stable APY, but they also have variable rates as well. And there's no guarantee how those variable rates are going to go. You know, they were talking about how if they have liquidity issues, those variable rates could swing quite a bit. You know, particularly if a whale came in and wanted to take out a very large loan that is a large percentage of what's available in liquidity, they could face a very, very high APY. So, you know, not sure how that would necessarily affect the average person, but yeah, it's just a little bit scary. Also, the fact that they said that there's nothing stopping AAVE from coming over to the Pulsechain. You know, if AAVE decides that the Pulsechain is going to be really good for business for them, they can come over as well. Now we basically have two versions of AAVE on Pulsechain. Problem is, the AAVE website, frankly, is I think, nicer. They've also proven themselves, and we know that they're stable. So, if they do come over, is Fiat going to be able to compete? They seem to think that they are, by virtue of themselves being Mexicans. But I don't know, if the general public's going to feel that way.
Yeah, the interesting thing with these protocols are the flash loans, and human beings don't take flash loans. Basically, it's you borrow a bunch of a coin and you see that it's mispriced on some exchange.
Yeah.
So you borrow it, you sell it on the exchange, and then you buy it on a different exchange and then repay your loan all in the same block. In the same block, all this happens. And they're just, it's about arbitraging between different exchanges, different dexes.
Yeah.
And that's usually how it plays out for all these things. I don't know how many, maybe with Hex or something where there's no other borrowing platform, maybe that would, encourage users to hop on there, deposit their Hex, and then borrow against that, because they don't want to sell their Hex, but they want to borrow a little bit of coin so that they can buy something else or sell it or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the flash loans, it's always an interesting thing for all these protocols where the bots come in and they clean all the debris up and skim off the top.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't hear anything about flash loans on Fiat. I know that AAVE does it, but I haven't found anything or heard any discussions about flash loans on Fiat.
I would assume it would be there. I can't imagine it wouldn't. I mean, if that's what they're doing, is doing loans and you can collateralize anything you want,
mm-hmm.
and then somebody can borrow whatever is on there that's collateralized.
Yeah. So I don't know, Dave, maybe you can tell me what you think, because maybe you don't, you haven't done a super deep dive, but I think you've got a pretty good understanding of all this. So there's kind of two questions that I had about this. One is that, with Fiat, there's an APY for, taking out a loan. So there's no time limit. There's no fixed time period. You can take out the loan for as long as you want, and as long as you're in good standing, you can keep your loan out, but you're accruing interest, and that's going to decrease your health factor, put you at risk of liquidation. When there's something like liquid loans, why are people going to go to Fiat?
Well, liquid loans is only for Pulse.
It is, yeah, and that's my second question. Why would someone want to take out a high interest loan in one token when they can take it out with Pulse and then just swap it?
Well, taxes would be one reason. Because every time you generally swap and you're buying and selling between different coins, there could be a tax implication.
I gotcha.
If you just collateralize Hex or PulseX or, I don't know, some other random coin, and you just take out a loan against that,
okay,
and then use that loan to do something else you want to do, buy another coin, or maybe just sell it and to your bank account, then there's no tax implications with that.
That's what I was missing.
Yeah.
I knew there must be a reason. I was like, this just does. I don't know why people would do that. Then why they just want to swap and and then take out a loan in Pulse. Yeah, that's right. The tax implications. Okay.
And every country is different, so it's hard to say who's going to use it or why they're going to use it. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons. Or if you just believe, if you're holding a coin and you just believe the thing's going to go up in value, but you just don't want to risk selling it for another one in the short term, then you borrow against it so that you can buy another coin And even if you're paying 5% or 10% APY on that borrow, it's fine. If you think that other coin's going to do a 10x or 50x, 100x or something else, that would be a reason to borrow against another coin you have. But you don't want to take a chance that your coin is going to also pump in the meantime.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just kind of anti-leverage. I don't like the idea of leverage. And just using it as a leverage tool. But to each their own. I can't see myself taking out a loan, just using it as leverage when there's interest like that. Because I mean, me knowing me too, I'd wind up getting screwed. I would let something slip. I would forget. I would lose track of it, and I'd find myself in a really bad place. Especially when there's liquid loans too. You know, do you really want to be leveraging on a couple different websites and then shooting yourself in the foot when one of them gets liquidated? You need just more stuff.
Yeah, that's the beauty about liquid loans is you can take that loan from your Pulse and you pay the 0.5% fee up front, and it's 0% from there on out. Yep. You can hold the loan forever and not pay any interest.
Yep.
I mean, that is the beauty about that particular protocol.
Absolutely, yeah. So you still have to go back in and check your collateralization, but you don't have to worry about accruing interest, which is going to eat into that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, that's what I know right now, but, you know, I surely want to look into, and I'll add that to my list of questions, right? It's just, you know, tokenomics of fiat. So, yeah, honestly, I don't know, man. And I'm really not trying to bash them or anything like that, but, you know, when you read their FAQs, I mean, just some of the stuff, you know, they say, are there risks? There are many risks, namely implementation on our part, success of Pulsechain, and competition from the competitors who will no doubt come. This is a risky enterprise, like anything in crypto. It's like, ooh, that's, yeah, man. I mean, that's a little scary. You know, just for no guarantee, you know, what with no confident guarantee that there's going to be good returns on this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, some of these things, they'll just have to play out. If they work for a while and the community's like, all right, it's legit, then fine, start using it. But, you know, be cautious.
Yeah, I think it's another good project potentially that's coming to Pulsechain, and I'm happy to see it come. And, you know, for those who are going to sack for it and, you know, maybe get a 10 to 100x on their investment, that's great. That's fine. If I had some extra money that I wanted to, you know, potentially throw away, I would put it into that. But there's a lot going on right now. It's not going to be my cup of tea, and, you know, I'm glad to understand it if I ever need to use it. But I don't think it's not something I would invest in. You also asked me to look in to see if it was something that might look like a rug pull, and I very confidently can say that I don't think it's that case at all. These guys are hexagons. You know, they're looking to raise, you know, $4 million or something like that, but it certainly doesn't feel or smell like a rug pull. If I would assume you agree with that from what you've seen.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I haven't seen anything that would suggest that. Yeah.
But you know me, really good at identifying those rug pulls. So.
Yes, after the fact.
After the fact, yeah, I can always identify a rug pull when my balance goes down to you know, 1% of what it was.
Yeah, then we get the confirmation, and we're all happy that Cobb figured it out for us.
Yeah, I'm not even going to tell the audience what token it was, but I remember just a month ago telling you that, you know, there was one that was down and had really taken quite a dip, but, you know, I was very confident in the leadership, and they're very positive about the direction that they're going, and, you know, I have no doubt that their heart's in the right place and it's going to come back. Yeah, that turned out to be a slow rug. I don't think we've talked about that. They just got quieter and quieter on Telegram and Twitter. And eventually people just started reaching out being like, hey, communication, please. Like, how's the project going? Can you please tell us? And they just respond like with one word. They'd just be like, coming soon. And they'd be like, patience. And then they kept saying, we will make you rich. Just wait. Just wait. We'll get there. It's going to do a 10,000x. Just wait. And eventually, like, the messages, their responses got further and fewer between. And then they just went completely dead silent. So there's still like 500 people in their Telegram chat who occasionally someone will like chime in and just be like, any updates? Yeah, there's still something like, there's still like $100,000 of liquidity in the project, but it's like down 99%. So, I mean, the problem is that it was such a slow rug that even after it was down like 80%, they were still getting on Telegram and being like, hey, I know it's down. Don't worry. Everything's fine. This is just all part of natural ebb and flow. You can expect these dips. Don't worry about it. We got big things in the works. Once our white paper comes out, like, we're working on the white paper. Once that comes out, then we'll have.
They didn't even have a white paper?
No, they didn't have a white paper. They said that they had been working on the white paper for 6 months, and they said that it was like done, but they just wasn't ready for release because they were still finishing touches. They still had to coordinate some stuff with a nonprofit they were working with. They're like, "Oh, this is going to be coming to fruition within like the next month. Just hang in there. This is going to explode once we release everything." They basically said too, like, this was a silent release. We didn't pay for any calls. This is just right now, it's all organic. So just wait until, we use our marketing budget to actually start paying for calls and release the white paper and then come out with NFTs that we have planned. And everyone's getting all stoked. They had like described all the NFTs that they were making and how they were going to work and how they're going to fit in with the tokenomics. Like, they went through a lot of work just to rug everybody. They did a good job of presenting. So
yeah, that's how they roll.
That opened my eyes. Yeah. Well, the first rug I got screwed on, I mean, was the crappiest website you've ever seen. They had absolutely nothing to show for anything, except they caught on. It was this convoy coin, right? They got everyone all pumped up on these truck convoys. So everyone's like, oh man, they're like, oh yeah, we're donating money. We're donating right to the front line. We have contacts on the front line, which seemed a little suspicious. Their website was absolutely crappy. Their logo was crappy. So, that one just screamed rug pull. But this second one, man, like, everything seemed so good. But that opened up my eyes. I mean, that was a really good learning experience. Really good learning experience. Just because something looks awesome and looks like they're putting a lot of work into it, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an easy way for them to make, $4 or $5 million and run away with it.
Definitely. All right. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for us today. I need to run and do some things here.
Yeah, you go do your things.
And cut this up, and
yep.
I think we've got 2 good segments.
we're still live. Well, not live,
yeah,
but
cut it up.
Well, now I got to cut this part out. I think I'm going to leave this part in so people can see behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We'll put this in the extended cut.
Director's cut.
The director's cut. Yeah. How it was originally meant to be.
Yeah.
What's you know what? Let me end the broadcast real quick and just stay on the line, okay? All right. But for anyone who is still here listening, please like and subscribe. Just to help us out. I know we're not the best, but we're getting better, I think. And the topics are only going to get more intense, and hopefully someday we're going to have some guests on. So this was David Cobb's Adventure Show, episode 2, and episode 3 should be coming out probably next week. I think we're going to do this every weekend, right, Dave?
That's right.
Awesome. So, yeah, Dave, stay on the line. All right. Bye.
See ya.